Hello, hello, hello. Tech people, tech crowd, and not so tech crowd. Hope you're all doing well today. What I have here in front of me is the Nexus 4. So what? What's the big deal? Well, this is the LG Nexus 4, and it's got a different look. That's because it's running the Ubuntu Touch operating system and not Android. So, I've been having, now for the last 24 hours or so, I've had Ubuntu Touch on this phone. I've been able to play around with it a bit. It has been now less than a year since Ubuntu has shipped out its first official Ubuntu phone. That was in February, March, about last year. And a lot of development has been happening on the device. Not this device so much. This is the Nexus 4. This is not one of the officially supported, I guess, devices. They shipped out the Aquarius E4.5 from the company BQ. I believe it's a Spanish company. And then there was the Meizu MX4, which those two devices are, as far as I know, those are the officially supported devices. But a lot of people have been using the Ubuntu Touch operating system on the Nexus, both the Galaxy Nexus from Samsung and the LG Nexus 4. And the reason for that is probably got something to do with the fact that Ubuntu was using the Nexus 4 phones as development phones, when they were developing the operating system before they even released their official Ubuntu phones, the BQ Aquarius E4.5 and the Meizu MX4. So it runs very well. What I've got running here is the stable channel, and so you have you've got a stable channel, which a channel is basically like a repository. If you're using Ubuntu or another Linux distribution on your desktop, you've got repositories, and repositories are basically online source locations for software and updates and so forth. So they've got, I believe it is four or five main channels. One is stable, one is release candidate, or RC, one is RC proposed, and then there's development, and then there's, I believe, even a development proposed channel. So I'm using the stable channel. So that's supposed to be the most stable version of the operating system. And then within the stable channel, you've got sort of branches or streams. I don't know what the terminology is there. And so what you have then is the Ubuntu generic stream within the stable channel. And you've got the Ubuntu developer stream. And then you've got the BQ Aquarius stream and the Meizu stream. And I started off with the generic Ubuntu stream, and I changed to the BQ Aquarius stream because there was something missing apparently in the generic Ubuntu stream that was stopping GPS from working on the Nexus 4. So that was one thing I want to say first of all is that I followed the official Ubuntu how-to that's online, and it is extremely easy to follow, and it worked perfectly, seamlessly, didn't have a single hiccup. So an amazing how-to. It was probably the best how-to I've followed for a very long time. So here we have the phone. Let me unlock it. I've got a 4-digit PIN, 4 zeros, because I'm very security-minded. No, because I don't really care. Because I've got development mode or developer options enabled, you have to have a form of security in order to enable that. You've got two forms of security. You can use a passphrase, or you can use a 4-digit PIN. And then there's just to swipe to unlock. Okay, so this is basically the default look that you have, and what you're looking at right now is a scope, what is called a scope. And a scope is kind of the closest thing I can relate a scope to, when you're using Android, for instance, is a widget, I guess. You know, like on the Android phone, you can put these widgets on the screen for your email, for news feeds, for Twitter, for, you know, just consumption of information, for the weather, etc. And it seems to me like Scopes is basically that kind of thing. So you can switch between, okay, first let's talk about gestures before we go into the scopes and all that kind of thing. So we've got basically four corners of the, four edges of the screen, and all four edges do something. One thing you'll notice straight off the bat, or you should, is that the bottom buttons, which exist there usually with Android, are no longer there, right? So you have to get away from using that altogether. So how do you get around? The top you can pull down, as I did before, or did I not? And you've got some basic, you've got notifications, rotation lock, files, I guess that's file transfers that are occurring. Location, so here's where you enable or disable GPS and location detection. Bluetooth on and off, and some settings. Network, flight mode, okay, the SIM is not inside right now, and then your wireless networks. Sound, so here you will also have, for instance, if music is playing, you will see there's some toggle buttons down here. The battery, where you can change the brightness of the screen, you can set it to automatically brighten, you can change battery settings from here. So it's a very useful, and there's a date and time, you can change the date settings. Very, very useful, quick access to settings and that sort of thing. Okay, so that's that side. If you swipe from the left here, it brings up the launcher. And if you're using Ubuntu, since a while now, I think since 12.04, you'll be used to this kind of look. Those are application icons. Some of them are pinned to the launcher, some aren't, but you can basically scroll around up and down as that fills up to get to your apps. And the bottom is to take you back to your home, which we will talk about in a second. Okay, so that's on the left-hand side. And that's pretty much all that you can do with the left-hand side, as far as within this area. Then you have the bottom, and the bottom is a drawer, which basically is in apps that have settings that you can manage, etc. It seems like the preferred Ubuntu design is that developers create this kind of, they create this kind of drawer that you can pull up from the bottom to get to settings of the app that you are currently viewing on screen. And then, and this is maybe the most interesting in some ways, is if you swipe from the right hand side, you get a selection of the open apps. So you can either go through the tiles, as I'm doing right now, and then go into an app just by clicking on it, tapping on it, or you can do sort of a quick flick, if I can do it, there you go, quick flick to get to the app that is next in line, so to speak. Or you can, and this is something you have to get used to, either flicking between an app, like that, or pulling up the drawer, this kind of filing cabinet, I don't know what this is called, to be able to select which app you want to go into. As you can see, it's pretty smooth. And this, again, this is a phone, about a 4-year-old phone, so this is quite smooth. So let's go back to our home screen. So that's the gestures that exist. And then there's another gesture that happens when you're looking at the scopes themselves, when you're on this kind of home screen. And that is, if you want to change from one scope to another, you can slide the home screen without going all the way to the edge. If you go to the edge, then you're gonna switch between apps. And if you go from this edge, you're going to get the launcher. So you basically oh, I have to get back to, alright, so get back to there. The other way to get back to there, of course, is to just go to the Ubuntu icon down there. And to go between scopes, you're basically just switching like that. And it's pretty smooth. If you, so the idea of scopes again is kind of this widget feel that you can get information very quickly. And these scopes you can install from the Ubuntu store, from the Ubuntu App Store. And so if you want to add a scope, you open up the settings drawer, and here are the various scopes that are currently available. I hope that's showing up on screen. And you can basically hit the star that is on the right hand side here, just like that, and then that gets added to the list of home, sort of a home area, and then also installed. So now if you go back, you'll find that there's the other ones you had, and now there's a My Videos scope as well. And you can also arrange in which order you have the scopes by again going here and then just holding down any of the available of the selected scopes, and then once you're here you can take the music one and you can drag it up to the top there, and then what happens is basically your default the default scope is the music one now because you've dragged it to the top of the list of scopes. Alright, so that's a general getting around the device. Generally the feel of the device to me is very complimentary. It's very smooth. The system settings are very clear, and I think it looks very simple, but it's also very functional, and yeah, I mean it looks very clean. Crystal clear, you know, when you're moving around here. So again, going here, and you can get rid of, okay, I don't want the My Videos anymore, so you just take the star. I don't want the music one, take the star, and go back. And now if you click on there, that is your default one. And this scope is basically just an apps drawer. It's just it just shows you what apps are installed on the device. There are quite a few scopes online, and in the Ubuntu store. Right, so you can search here. This is, I guess, highlight of the week app, and then you've got essentials, top apps, top scopes, favorite games, etc. And of course you can search for an app. You can select a category of app. So yeah, generally speaking, that's what it looks like. And in the next video I am going to get a bit more into, is it actually functional? What can you actually do with the thing, and is it, at this point in time, is it a contender against what is available, and mostly a contender against Android? In the next video I'm going to do something on that. Thanks for watching. Ciao.